Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Now at noon on our Christmas Eve, the radar lit in green, especially during the eastern half of the state. I'll show you when the rain completely moves out of our area and your hour-by-hour Christmas Day forecast coming up.
Travel troubles with American. With the American Airlines nationwide ground stop now lifted, we look at how this is affecting travelers' holiday trips. And a pair of parachute suspects. A live report on the two people arrested for parachuting off a construction crane in downtown Raleigh. We are watching the radar here also at noon here at WRAL News. Rain is moving out of parts of our area, and some of us may actually see a dry Christmas. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Chris Lovingood. Let's hand things over now to meteorologist Chris Michaels today. Chris, we had a weather alert day. That's now over, but we still have some areas that'll see possible travel trouble.
Yeah, and that's especially the eastern half of the state where we continue to see more rain. And Sampson County is one of those areas that continues with that very chilly rain here at midday. I'll show you where it is on the dual Doppler 5000. Notice Johnston County, for the most part, is done with it, but Wayne County, Sampson County really holding on to the rain as low pressure pulls offshore. Plans to go to Greenville, New Bern, Moorhead City, the Outer Banks. You'll come into contact with some rain here for your Christmas Eve. But then you look just to the west, and it's pretty much full-on sunshine in Apex. 50 degrees the current temperature, and the dew point at 19. So it's just incredibly dry over parts of Wake County and areas to the west, which is why you swung and missed on the rain earlier this morning. In terms of Christmas Eve this afternoon, Durham at 53, but look at Clinton and Goldsboro. You only reach 45 degrees, kind of opposite of what you would expect on a more typical day. South Hill, Raleigh, Southern Pines will be in the low 50s as well. If you're planning on checking out some Christmas lights this evening, great evening to do it. All of us are going to be dry by then. We'll have a partly cloudy sky. By 5 p.m. we're in the 40s, and by 8 or 9 p.m. we're around 40 degrees. So overall pretty chilly. You'll need a jacket, as you often do this time of year. Santa seems pretty excited about the forecast for tonight because it'll be dry for his flight in. Temperatures in Roxborough and South Hill, 29 degrees first thing tomorrow morning. Will be right around freezing, maybe some patchy frost in the Triangle and Sand Hills first thing Christmas Day. Your hour-by-hour Christmas Day forecast and what we expect heading into the upcoming weekend. That's coming up in just a little bit.
Can't guarantee you'll see a flossing Santa tonight, but we are continuing to monitor the weather conditions throughout the day. You can tune into our newscast from 4 to 7:30 this evening to see how your forecast for Christmas Day and New Year's is shaping up. American Airlines is boarding flights again after a short ground stop this morning. This happened because of what the airline is calling a system-wide technical issue. WRAL's Liz McLaughlin joins us live from RDU. Liz, I saw the photos earlier at the airport. It looked pretty hectic. How is this affecting the rest of the day there at RDU?
It's actually pretty quiet right now, but definitely a hectic morning. That ground stop, they said, was due to one of their vendors' platforms, and we're still seeing the ripple effect of that. You can take a look at this departures board back here. Lots of yellow. Those are delayed. There's about 8 right now for lines. Those ripple effects will continue through the afternoon. The yellow times, again, those delays and backing some things up for some passengers. And American isn't the only airline dealing with issues today. And RDU volunteer Clay Clayton had to redirect confused customers with Spirit Airlines.
The only other thing we've had is Spirit, and I hear Alaska sent out a text telling people their gates had changed, and they listed Terminal 2 rather than Terminal 1 as the gate change. So I've had a number of people who've come in looking for Spirit when they're in the other terminal.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. So far, Spirit Airlines has not responded to requests for comment, but all of those flights will be taken off from Terminal 1 for any passengers with that ticket today. And as for American, they say most of those flights should be back online. We're starting to see less and less delays as we get into the afternoon hour. And the TSA wait line here, you can see it's really breezing. Passengers are just breezing through about 15 minutes right now, 5 to 15 minutes. And you can see those real-time updates through the My TSA app, no matter what airport you're flying in or out of. So that might be a good thing to have because these wait times can change really quickly and get backed up.
All right, thank you, Liz. We know at least one person here at WRAL News had their flight delayed by an hour. A man is facing charges in the murder of a Greensboro police officer. 34-year-old Terrell McMillian is charged with first-degree murder. He's accused of killing Officer Michael Haran yesterday morning. We've got WRAL's Laura Levine following the story in the WRAL Live Center. Laura, what else do we know about this guy?
Well, Chris, we got that update from Greensboro Police at around 9 o'clock this morning. That's when we hit this information in the live center. Then this is another photo here of the suspect, 34-year-old Terrell McMillan. He was arrested on I-40 near Duplin County after leading police on a chase which spanned about 7 counties. Now, he has been charged with first-degree murder, and he's being held in the Guilford County Jail without bond. Now, Greensboro Police say Officer Michael Horan, who joined the Greensboro Police Department in 2017, responded to a call about a suspicious armed man inside the Food Lion on Lawndale Drive in Greensboro. That's at 11 a.m. when Officer Horan was the first person to arrive and made contact with the suspect inside the store. After a brief struggle, the suspect pulled out a gun and shot and killed Officer Horan there at the store before fleeing the scene in a vehicle. Now, according to police, McMillan also now faces multiple charges related to the chase that led to that arrest. As we know this morning, tributes continue to pour in here for Officer Horan. Horan was a father and a husband. Police said they're calling him an excellent officer with an outstanding reputation inside the department and in the community. We'll continue to follow any new updates on this investigation here in the Live Center.
People mourning the loss of that officer. Thank you, Laura. 2 men are facing charges because police say they parachuted from a crane in downtown Raleigh. This happened around 2 o'clock this morning at the new City Hall construction site. Let's go ahead and bring in WRAL's Carly Haynes. She has been looking into this story. Carly, we know who these men are now. They weren't injured, but legally they landed in trouble.
Right. We saw 2 of these construction company workers here earlier. They were evaluating the site after the events early this morning when 2 trespassers got in here. And I want to show you the crane where these 2 men had actually climbed up. Police spotted them at the top with parachutes around 2 a.m. The 2 had jumped from the crane and glided to the City Hall parking deck where they landed. They were not hurt, but police did identify the 2 men as 51-year-old Jason McClure and 37-year-old Jorge Chacon. Both are charged with trespassing and resisting arrest. We've dug into their backgrounds. Both have history on skydiving teams. And we did reach out to the construction company. They confirmed that they have security cameras on this property that helped alert police, but right now they are evaluating their security protocol. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
New at noon, Holly Hill Children's Hospital has temporarily stopped taking in teenagers. This is happening days after a fight broke out between patients in a parking lot. Workers say the hospital will still take younger children and adults. WRAL crews were there when there was a large police presence. Police say staff had to break up that fight, but no injuries or arrests were reported. No word on when they will start taking teenagers again. The Wake County Sheriff's Office is investigating shots fired into occupied vehicles. The first one happened around 9 o'clock last night on Wendell Falls Parkway and Eagle Rock Road. A second call came just over an hour later on I-540 near Buffalo Road. Deputies say that call came in around 8:30. Anyone with information is asked to call the Wake County Sheriff's Office. A man is dead after a shooting at a home in Fayetteville. Police were called to a scene on Gardenwood Court just before 10 last night for reports of a shooting. When they arrived, they found 20-year-old Malachi Woods shot, and he died at the scene. Investigators say this was not a random shooting. They also say Woods and the shooter did know each other. They say there is no threat to the public in this case. 2 men are hurt because of a shooting in Halifax County. This happened in Scotland Neck around 11 o'clock last night. Police say several shots were fired into a vehicle. Investigators also say the 2 men who were shot drove themselves to the police department. They identified a person of interest and their vehicle too. There's good news for drivers making last-minute trips to their holiday destinations. AAA says today and Christmas Day, tomorrow, will be less busy than the last few days. There's no suggested travel period, but if you're, of course, driving this afternoon, this is something you want to keep in mind to make sure you're kind of avoiding any of those trouble spots as people are headed to places where they're shopping. We do have a look at some of the gas prices that you'll see as you head out on the roads. The current average in North Carolina is $2.86. According to Gas Buddy, the current average in Raleigh is $2.91. The national average is $3.04. And reports are saying that we are seeing the cheapest gas prices since the pandemic. If you do need to run some last-minute errands this Christmas Eve, you may want to pay attention. Here's a list of what is open and closed today, at least a shortened list. Stores such as Walmart and Target are open, but they are going to close early. Walmart closes tonight at 6, Target at 8. And both are closed tomorrow on Christmas. Most grocery stores will be open, but many have reduced hours. So just check with them before you head out. Banks are open today, but Wells Fargo banks should be closed as of noon. And most pharmacies, such as CVS and Walgreens, are open. But again, check your local store's hours before you head out. Do you want to get a quick look at the stocks and how they are performing during this shortened week because of the holidays? Looks like the Dow is up 260 points. That's an improvement there. Investors clearly reacting, of course, to that stopgap funding bill that was passed. Of course, that's going to carry along our government a little bit long into the spring before a more permanent fix is passed for government funding. Your time is 12:09. A death penalty disagreement. Why President Biden is receiving both praise and criticism on his stance on capital punishment. Plus, you may want to check your eggs from Costco. A batch you bought could cause serious health issues, even death. A breakdown from the FDA. That's next. And wrapping presents, family gatherings, cooking with holiday stress. You're going to hear ways to manage all that pressure.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Happening now here in the Live Center, we have an update on the health of former President Bill Clinton. We reported this morning that he has been was hospitalized. At the time, it was because of a fever, and we now know that he has been discharged this morning from a hospital 1 day after being admitted for the flu, according to his office. President Clinton was discharged earlier today, according to the office, after being treated for the flu. They say he and his family are deeply grateful for the exceptional care provided by the team at MedStar Georgetown University. We know this comes as the former president has dealt with a past of serious health issues. His goal was to be home for Christmas, and that he will be.
A trial date has been set for the man charged in the second assassination attempt of President-elect Donald Trump. A judge set Ryan Ruth's trial for September 8th. This month, attorneys for Ruth asked that his trial be delayed from February of next year to December. They claim there was too much electronic evidence to search through. Ruth's legal team has also said it was considering invoking an insanity defense. A large Christmas Eve fire destroyed a historic church in downtown Indianapolis. I mean, you see how intense the flames are in this video. Notice the flames ripping through the top of the building. This happened around 5:30 this morning. Now, this looks intense, but no one was inside at the time. Crews were able to keep the fire from spreading to nearby buildings. No word yet on what exactly caused this. Overseas now, visitors were evacuated from the Eiffel Tower today. That's because of a fire alarm that went off. The company that manages the monument said a short circuit in the elevator system, that is what set off the alarm. No visitors were hurt. The monument will reopen over time today with limited access to some floors. Progressives are praising President Biden for his stance on the death penalty, but not everyone agrees with him. Here's Alex Hoff in Washington.
The Congressional Progressive Caucus thanked President Biden for his latest action, calling the death penalty fundamentally inhumane. But critics say inhumane better describes the crimes that landed these men on death row. The crimes are as horrific as they come. Prosecutors say George Avila Torres sexually assaulted and killed two young girls, Laura Hobbs and Crystal Tobias, before murdering 20-year-old naval officer Amanda Snell. Torres was sentenced to death, as was Thomas Sanders, who was convicted of killing 12-year-old Lexis Roberts after making her watch as he murdered her mother.
This shows you that Joe Biden has no regard for the rule of law and that there is such animosity in the Biden administration.
Now, both men are among 37 federal death row inmates whose sentences have been commuted by President Biden, a decision stirring fierce debate.
I have real concerns overall with the death penalty, but I also have concerns with the executive branch overturning cases that have been decided by courts across the country.
The president stated that while he condemns the murderers' crimes and grieves for their victims, quote, "In good conscience, I cannot stand back and let a new administration resume executions that I halted." In a statement to Fox, President-elect Trump's team called the current president's decision abhorrent. On the campaign trail, Trump promised to resume executions and expand federal death penalty cases. This round of commutations excludes those sentenced for hate-based mass murders and terrorism. Boston Marathon bomber Zohar Tsarnaev, Charleston church shooter Dylan Roof, and Pittsburgh synagogue shooter Robert Bowers will remain on death row.
That was Alexandria Hoff reporting. This move comes after the president's mass day of clemency 9 days ago. That is where more than 1,500 individuals were pardoned or had their sentences commuted. Part of a Santa Cruz pier collapsed into the ocean with 3 people on it. This video right here captured the scene, and it shows part of the debris floating away in the surf. Santa Cruz police say that 2 of the people on the pier had to be rescued. The 3rd person got out of the water on their own, but no word yet on the extent of their injuries. The rest of the wharf, it was evacuated. Winter storms previously damaged the end of that pier. Typically, thousands of people around the world would attend celebrations in Bethlehem, the place revered as the birthplace of Jesus. But this year, Bethlehem prepares to mark its 2nd Christmas under the shadow of war in Gaza. Since the war in Gaza began, tourism to Israel and the Israeli-occupied West Bank, it's plummeted. Israel barred entry to most of the 150,000 Palestinians in the West Bank with jobs in Israel. The Palestinian economy took a 25% hit in the first quarter of this year. But in Paris, there are celebrations as the Notre Dame Cathedral. It is back open. This is the first Christmas it's been available since the 2019 fire. It was closed for more than 5 years. From the gleaming new altar to the restored organ's melodies, the 800-year-old landmark is once again a symbol for faith and celebration. We do want to transition now over to weather. It's been the big story for us today, obviously, aside from the American Airlines story. We started off as a weather alert day, Chris, but things have slowed down a bit in terms of intensity, but we are still seeing some rain.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really for like 2 or 3 of our counties, specifically Sampson and Wayne counties. Wilson County looks like you're getting rid of the rain slowly but surely. If you have plans to head out maybe to Kinston, Greenville, Newbern, Moorhead City, they're hanging on to the rain a little bit longer as low pressure is just off the coast. But if you were to kind of broaden out the view, you see the triangle, no shot of rain. That pertains to areas like Person, Granville, Vance counties as well. Franklin County, we're in good shape for the rest of our Christmas Eve. Live look at RDU, where we had that big story earlier today about American Airlines. Right now, we're at about 50 degrees at the airport. A little breeze out of the southwest and temperatures rising into the low to mid 50s this afternoon. We'll be nice and comfortable in the 40s as we head into the evening hours, maybe checking out some holiday displays out there on Christmas Eve. Should be a good evening for that. Meanwhile, overnight as Santa Claus is coming to town, weather pretty fitting. Temperatures upper 20s in Roxborough and South Hill, close to freezing in Raleigh and Durham, Rocky Mount at 30 degrees, Fayetteville 34. Could see some patchy frost out there, especially with some of the areas that saw some rain. Now the ground is a little more moist and may get a little frosty at times first thing tomorrow morning. Nothing we haven't seen in the month of December. Midday Christmas Day, we're in the upper 40s. High temperatures tomorrow, once again, making it into the low to mid 50s, mostly sunny to partly cloudy. Overall, a nice, pleasant Christmas day for us. So really, in terms of travel, the next few days look to be really nice. We'll give you the green light through Friday. Saturday looks like it starts out dry, and then we see the chance for some showers here at home. Maybe your travel is going farther north. We got a couple bowl games this weekend. UNC and UConn at Fenway Park. That's pretty cool. 36 at kickoff. NC State and ECU. Military Bowl in Annapolis. Looking at a kickoff temperature of 43 in Maryland, but it looks like most of the rain will stay south and west of there. Here's that rainmaker I'm touching upon. This is really for Sunday. Looks like chances are rising, potentially heavy at times as it's grabbing some Gulf moisture, and it's also going to be pretty warm. Storms may become possible just depending on instability. Again, we're talking about something that's about 5 days away here, but do want to, no pun intended, put it on your radar just in case you have any kind of plans to travel in or out of the area after Christmas. Looking ahead to the end of the year, that flow out of the southwest continues, so these orange and red shadings indicating temperatures will be well above normal for New Year's Eve. Right now, looks like temperatures could top out in the 60s during that afternoon. So right now, we're kind of starting out at the bottom. Temperatures low to mid 50s for the next several afternoons. Again, tomorrow going to be a great day. Get outside, play with some of the toys that Santa brings you. Thursday and Friday will be in the 30s in the morning, low to mid 50s by the afternoon. And as we transition into the weekend, we start to transition into a warmer weather pattern. Temperatures in the 60s. I've brought our rain chances up Sunday to about 60%. Then it looks like we start out next week dry with high temperatures in the low 60s by Monday. Chris?
Well, at least it felt like winter for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Chris. Nearly 1 million taxpayers will soon get checks, and some of them as much as $1,400. Who should look out for the bonus payment and why it's going out now? Plus, federal agents are seizing counterfeit lip filler, jewelry, clothing, and more this holiday season. On WRAL at 6, 5 of your sites, Keely Arthur got an exclusive look at how U.S. Customs and Border Protection spot a real from a fake. Egg recall upgraded. Why the FDA says eggs sold here in North Carolina could cause serious health issues. Plus, a dangerous drone show. How a holiday show went terribly wrong, landing a child in the hospital. Five on your side covering these headlines that you will care about today. The Biden administration has withdrawn two major plans to deliver student loan forgiveness. The proposed regulations would have canceled student debt for millions of borrowers. That includes those who are in repayment for decades and others experiencing financial hardship. The Education Department cited, quote, operational challenges in implementation. There are still other federal pathways to debt relief, with information available at ed.gov. A recall on eggs sold here in North Carolina is now classified under the highest risk level. The FDA marked Handsome Brook Farms eggs with a Category 1 recall for salmonella. That means there is reasonable possibility that the product could cause serious health issues or even death if consumed. Hundreds of thousands of the eggs were sold at Costco under the Kirkland brand. No illnesses have been reported, not yet. The company says they were not meant to be distributed as retail, but were shipped with retail packaging by accident. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is suing Walmart. It is accusing the company of taking advantage of some delivery drivers. The Bureau claims Walmart and a work scheduling company forced the drivers to use expensive deposit accounts. Now, these accounts were also allegedly poorly managed. The agency says Walmart illegally opened these accounts that caused junk fees for the workers. The lawsuit claims drivers were told they would be fired if they did not use those accounts. Walmart, though, denies the allegations. The Mega Millions drawing, it is tonight. The winning ticket is worth an estimated $970 million. The lump sum option is nearly $440 million. I guess I would take that much. I don't know. You can catch the next drawing tonight at 11 p.m. right here on WRAL. Now, the winner of a previous billion-dollar Mega Millions jackpot has finally come forward. The lucky winner claimed the $1.13 billion Mega Millions ticket. It was sold in New Jersey months ago. But if you're looking for that person, guess again, they chose to remain anonymous. Who wouldn't, right? They had 1 year to claim that massive prize, and now they walk away with a cash payout worth $537.5 million before taxes. Not bad. Preventing cold weather injuries, the increased risks, and what you can do to keep yourself from falling on icy surfaces, plus a push to ban drones. Next, why Congress wants them gone, and you're going to hear from one North Carolina farmer on how this would affect them. Just in case you missed them, we do have your winning NC Education Lottery numbers for yesterday right there on your screen. Good luck.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We're getting you a live look outside right now at the North Hills in Raleigh. Beautiful blue skies. Arguably, though, it looked a little different as you were waking up this morning. That's one of the reasons we had that WRAL weather alert day that was issued. It's gone now. But Chris Michaels is tracking where that rain is right now in that system out to our east.
Yeah, definitely moving along into the east of I-95. So if you plan on heading toward Greenville, Newbern, you're going to come into contact with some rain. You've also got some showers that continue locally in Sampson and Wayne counties. Notice that Sanford, Raleigh, Siler City, Durham, Chapel Hill, areas like Roxborough, you don't have any rain to contend with as we go throughout the rest of our Christmas Eve. Temperature difference, though, from west to east. Durham and Raleigh, more sunshine, therefore you're warmer. Makes sense, right? Fayetteville at 42 as you're hanging on to the cloud cover. Hour by hour for the rest of our Christmas Eve. 50s for highs for most of us. 30s as we head into the overnight. That same hour by hour for your Christmas Day and beyond is coming up in just a little bit.
And happening here in the WRAL Live Center, we are monitoring those flight delays and cancellations, especially after the trouble American Airlines had earlier this morning. Taking a look at the misery map, we are beginning to see more of those airports pop up with more delays as a ripple effect of what happened this morning. You can see there are a total of 3,000 flight delays across the country, a total of 307 cancellations. Now, I just checked at RDU. There are dozens of flights delayed. I'm talking about 34 flight delays at RDU. Many of those flights are with American Airlines. Now, American Airlines said that they had issues. They had some type of technical issue this morning. They were briefly grounding flights just before 7 o'clock, and then they were able to lift that ground stop about 2 hours ago. So, of course, we will continue to track the issues as many people are still traveling, trying to get out for those holiday gatherings.
You know you will. Thank you, Laura. A man from Cary is in custody because he is accused of having bomb-making materials. Police arrested David Lawrence right here on your screen after a family member tipped off officers about devices believed to be bombs. Lawrence admitted to making explosives for what he said were noisemakers. The Harney County Sheriff's Office is looking for 3 people they believe intentionally set a woman on fire. This happened a week ago off NC 27 near Barbecue Church Road. The sheriff says Ashanti Downey was walking along the highway when this happened. 3 people jumped from a car and then doused her in gasoline. Then they used a cigarette to set her on fire. Downey was taken to the emergency room with 2nd and 3rd degree burns on the right side of her body. She's in critical condition at last check. If you have any information, you can contact the Harnett County Sheriff's Office. One person was killed and several others were injured during a boat explosion. This happened at a marina in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. See the video for yourself the moment it exploded. Notice the people standing nearby when this happened. You can see they kind of stand back after it, understandably so. Authorities say this happened just before 6 o'clock last night, and these aerial images show firefighters battling the intense flames. An investigation into what caused the explosion, that's underway. One child will have to spend Christmas in the ICU because a Christmas drone show went terribly wrong. Thousands were watching the show in Orlando, and that's when drones started tumbling to the ground below. You got a quick glimpse right there. It happened in the crowd. The FAA confirmed several of the small aircraft collided midair, and one of them struck a 7-year-old boy.
My daughter found my son on the floor, unconscious, blood coming out his face. The drone hit him so hard in his chest that it messed up one of the valves in his heart.
No mother should have to deal with that, nor their child. She says the impact forced doctors to perform emergency heart surgery Sunday. The company that put on the show says they are working with the FAA and they regret any distress they caused. Drones are actually used everywhere and across many industries, but sales of drones produced by Chinese companies may be over. Members of Congress keep calling for a ban. Here's Kevin Urteski.
They ought to be banned. End of story.
But the story is far from over, as the fight over the future of Chinese-made drones in the United States soars to new heights. Many lawmakers on Capitol Hill have long argued that Chinese-made drones carry a number of risks. They're now aiming to ban new sales from 2 major Chinese manufacturers, citing security threats.
Drones manufactured in China are a source of surveillance, data collection.
DJI Technologies is the largest drone manufacturer in the world. Despite its significant presence, DJI is based in China and it has known ties with the Chinese Communist Party.
Government officials also say the low-cost Chinese devices are hurting the U.S. drone industry. But nationwide, many of these gadgets are offering solutions, especially to farmers.
We can fly over a cornfield in season and we can see, is there a problem area? Is it fertility? Is it somebody messed up with chemistry?
Besides agriculture, drones are also used to locate victims after natural disasters. They're even helping to combat mosquito populations to protect against diseases.
If it's going to be a change, it shouldn't be a knee-jerk reaction.
But after talking to lawmakers, some drone operators argue the proposed threats linked to Chinese devices aren't specific enough.
If they're going to ban it, if they're going to say that they're bad, tell us why. Because every time that I've talked to a lawmaker, they could do this, they could do that. It's always they could.
Happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, tributes continue to pour in here for Greensboro police officer Michael Horan, who was killed in the line of duty. This is the Help a Hero Fund, now at $75,000 raised. This money, 100% of the donations will go to his immediate family. And not only with the monetary donations here online, but we continue to see not only people in Greensboro, but local police departments in our county, in our viewing area and across the state, showing their love and support to the officer and his family. There's also a memorial set up right outside of the Greensboro Police Department that we continue to see many people stopping by to pay their respects.
Your time is 12:35. Another treatment option. Next, the new shot people with type 2 diabetes will now be able to use to fight the disease. Plus, holiday stress. It's inevitable sometimes. Next, doctors share advice on ways you can manage it and enjoy quality time with family. For news, traffic, and the weather of the day, of course, you make sure to download the WRAL News app and, hey, turn those notifications on. There's now another treatment option for people with type 2 diabetes. The FDA approved a generic version of the daily injectable GLP-1 medicine liraglutide. The treatment is similar to Ozempic. It'll be sold under the brand name Victoza. The company that sells the generic version has not announced a price. They did say, though, it will cost less than the branded version. The treatment is expected to be available nationwide by the new year. While snow and ice can be magical, they can also be dangerous to older adults. According to the CDC, falls are the leading cause of injury for folks 65 and up. The CDC reports 1 in 4 older adults report falls every year. Now, doctors say that the mortality risk for that age bracket is higher than younger individuals, but they stress it's not just age affecting this.
Alzheimer's disease, Down syndrome, these disease states have an impact on the skeleton, and sometimes skeletal weakness can be, again, a marker for the underlying disease before the disease itself is really prominent.
Health experts say preventing injuries starts by minimizing any risks you're putting yourself at. They say it's important to always stay aware. Managing holiday stress. Coming up, the tips and tricks doctors offer to get through the holidays with a smile on your face. Plus, the naughty or nice list as the thing to blame. What a survey revealed about what parents do when it comes to helping their children behave. It is the busiest day of the year for Santa Claus. He is already out delivering presents to the boys and girls around the world. Apparently, he forgot the Loving Good household. Nothing under the tree for me yet, Santa. We're looking at the NORAD Santa tracker now, and looks like in about a couple of minutes, Santa is going to be in Dubai the last time I checked that. From holiday get-togethers to getting those presents wrapped, there is a lot to do this week. And while this time of year can bring joy, it can also create tension. Mandy Gaither has ways that you can handle holiday stress.
If the most wonderful time of the year is feeling a bit overwhelming, you're not alone.
There are school breaks and holidays, but then there's also the expectations that we put on ourselves that things have to look a certain way or we should feel a certain way.
Licensed therapist Jody Baumstein with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says handling holiday stress starts with acknowledging it. She says we're often not aware of how we feel and we can't do anything about it until we recognize it. Then address the stress by giving yourself permission to do things differently, especially if certain holiday traditions are exhausting. And be realistic. Before adding to your to-do list, make sure you can get those things done. She says to also allow yourself to say no.
It can be as simple as, thank you so much for the invite. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make it this year. And leave it at that.
If some of your stress involves being around certain family members, Baumstein says to set boundaries. Let them know in advance that controversial topics are off limits and have a plan on how to take a break if you need one. Finally, practice gratitude.
It's not the absence of hard things. It's actually the recognition and appreciation of what's good, even in the midst of pain or suffering or struggle.
That was Mandy Gaither reporting. Doctors say grounding yourself in the moment can help you to stop thinking about your to-do list. We're talking about appreciating the sounds, the smells, and the feelings this time of year. Just a heads up, you still have a chance to help a child in need this holiday season. So far, our WRAL Coach for the Children campaign has raised more than $189,000, and that was thanks to generous donations from you, our viewers, and community partners. If you scan the QR code on your screen right now, you can go and donate or go to WRAL.com/coats. You can also drop off a new or gently used coat at a participating Jiffy Lube location. You will arguably need that today. Tomorrow, if you're waking up early like I am, I'll be here at the station joining you on Christmas Day because it's going to be cold. Meteorologist Chris Michaels is tracking that for you, though right now you could probably get away with, what, a light jacket maybe?
I would think so, yeah. I mean, it really depends on your location, right? Because Raleigh's at 50, yet places like Clinton are at 40 degrees, all because of that rain line that we've been tracking over the past few hours. Got a few high-level clouds over the capital city, sunshine poking through those. So far, so good. But here's the system responsible for some of that rain that we've been tracking. Riding along the East Coast, so if your plan is to head toward the eastern part of North Carolina throughout the afternoon and evening, you'll still be dodging some rain. They've got some mixed precipitation just west of the nation's capital. And New York City actually wound up getting an inch of snow. They said that that's actually their snowiest Christmas Eve since 1998. I thought that was actually kind of surprising. Back here at home, we've got Sampson and Wayne County still dealing with some of that rain. Everywhere to the west, you're done with it for the day, and we continue to see that mix of clouds and sunshine. So if you're heading out this evening, maybe checking out some Christmas lights. Some of these neighborhoods look amazing out here. We're going to see temperatures drop from the mid-40s around 5 p.m. to about 40 degrees at 9 p.m. So as Chris was saying, maybe a light jacket. Don't need anything too crazy out there. Not this evening. By tomorrow morning, looking at temperatures in the upper 20s, and I know everybody's been getting a kick out of this flossing Santa. He seems pretty happy to be coming into town, especially with these seasonable temperatures. We'll be at about 30 to 34 from Rocky Mount to Fayetteville, that including Durham and Raleigh. So that's around sunrise tomorrow morning, and then naturally temperatures will continue to increase into the afternoon, similar to how they've been today. Your Christmas Day planner showing high temperatures in the low to mid 50s by tomorrow. So as far as traveling is concerned, if you're planning on doing that after tomorrow, you got the green light for Thursday and Friday. Saturday, a few showers are going to be possible as we track a system that's coming in from the west. So you notice low pressure coming in from the Rockies, counterclockwise flow around it, comes in out of the southwest. Means there's the potential, especially by Sunday, to see some heavy rain. It'll also be pretty warm, so we'll keep an eye on the potential for any kind of showers and thunderstorms by then. But even after Sunday, it doesn't look like we see a big cool down just yet. That may be as we get toward the middle part of January. But in terms of New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, this is a very early look at what to expect. Temperatures could be a good 5 to 10 degrees above average as we're ringing in the new year. So yeah, a little warm out there, and you'll notice that toward the tail end of the 7-day forecast. So for today, that alert day that we had, we've dropped it just because a lot of the rain is starting to move out of the area. That was expected. Christmas Day starting in the 30s, then jumping to the 50s. You can pretty much hit Control-C, Control-V. Just copy paste tomorrow's forecast onto Thursday and onto Friday. Limited rain chances out there. Now, as we head into Saturday, few isolated showers can't be ruled out. I've taken our rain chances Sunday up to about 60%. Keep checking back for updates on that, especially with a lot of post-holiday travel going on. But right now, got temperatures in the 60s on Sunday, in the 60s on Monday. And Chris, as we were just showing, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day could also be in the 60s. So a warm end to 2024.
You're going to copy and paste a day, though. I kind of wish you would copy and paste Christmas, because then you get dual Christmases.
You know, like the Fairly Odd Parents, we're both Nickelodeon's kids, and it was just Christmas all over again.
All over.
Yeah.
It's tiring at some point.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. The naughty or nice list. What a survey found when it comes to parents blaming the naughty or nice list to keep their kids in line. And we do have a look at your winning Powerball numbers, just in case you missed them. 22, 42, 44, 57, 64, and the Powerball is 18 with the power play at 2. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines that we're following today on WRAL News. American Airlines is boarding flights again after a short ground stop this morning. It happened because of what the airline is calling a system-wide technical issue. FlightAware.com is reporting 34 delays today at the airport at last check. Right now, there is still space at Park RDU Central and Premier. Economy lots 3 and 4 are nearly full. 2 men are facing charges because police say they parachuted from a crane in downtown Raleigh. It happened around 2 o'clock this morning at the new site, the City Hall construction site. Police identified the 2 men as 51-year-old Jason McClure and 37-year-old George Chacon. Both are charged with trespassing and resisting arrest, and they were not hurt when they landed. Holly Hill Children's Hospital has temporarily stopped taking in teenagers. This is happening days after a fight between patients in the parking lot. Workers say the hospital will still take younger children and adults. WRAL crews were there when there was a large police presence. Investigators say staff had to break up that fight. Authorities did not announce any arrests or injuries, and it's not quite clear when they'll start taking teenagers again. What a way to celebrate the holiday season and new Christmas cheer. Here are babies at UNC Health Rex and UNC Children's Hospital in Chapel Hill, all dressed up in their holiday costumes. Look at them little babies, little presents right there. I'm going to have one of you soon. The babies are in the neonatal intensive care unit. This has become a tradition. It helps the staff and the parents of the babies enjoy the holidays while looking forward to brighter days ahead. See, my baby's going to be born in spring, though. I won't be able to have a Christmas baby. A new survey suggests some parents are on the Christmas naughty list for how they get their children to behave. It found nearly 1/4 of parents are pretty grinchy with their 3 to 5-year-olds. They say, get this, they threaten to cancel Santa Claus and gift giving as a form of discipline. Many parents say they do this to prevent a public meltdown, I guess to have a private one. Doctors say parents need to be on the same page with discipline strategies and make sure the punishment fits the crime. I will say, I'm not a psychologist, but won't this make them resent you if you do that? I don't know, but it's your kid. You know what you're doing. Okay, so this is, of course, coming. They have Christmas, then New Year's happens. Ring it in with WRAL live from downtown Raleigh. You can join us as we bring you the fun and the excitement from the state's largest New Year's Eve celebration. Music, crowds, and fireworks will help bring 2024 to a close. Plus, the coverage of celebrations that are happening Tuesday, December 31st at 1 p.m. You can celebrate the new year with WRAL First Night Raleigh. Today's Christmas Eve pet of the day is Finley. He is certainly in the holiday spirit with Santa and Mrs. Claus there. He is a 20-pound lemon beagle. Finley has a silly and playful personality. He loves dog beds, stuffed toys, and belly rubs. Finley does great with other dogs, too. If you want to learn just a little bit more about adopting Finley, keep in mind you can go to trybeagles.org. Nearly 1 million taxpayers will soon get checks, and some of them will be as much as $1,400. Who should look out for the bonus payment and why it's going out now? We'll be talking about that during our newscast between 4 and 7 o'clock tonight on WRAL News. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update is in 30 minutes. Just a reminder, folks, you can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. As you recall, we had that WRAL Weather Alert Day. Well, if you sign up for the app, turn on your notifications, you too will be able to be notified as soon as that goes out from our WRAL weather team. Hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. And of course, we are giving you a quick look at Santa Claus. Where is the big man in red right now? The text is so super tiny. Morgan, where is he right now? Morgan doesn't know. Okay, he's Armenia. Okay, he is in Armenia right now, dropping off presents to the little boys and girls. But hey, don't be bad. Your parents may take them from you. 1 of 4 parents apparently did that, according to the survey. You're watching WRAL News. We'll be back in just a bit.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.